Greetings, everyone, and welcome back to the Wild Digest. I am Scott, and this is, I guess, technically, at least the first part is going to be sort of a part 2 to my previous video where I talked about my trip to the Northeast. The reason being that box I referenced, if you didn't see it, I had shipped a box of stuff back to myself. I shipped from myself to myself. And the box showed up yesterday, so I have a few things I can show you that were in that box. I did talk a little bit about them, but we're going to start with sort of just reviewing some of those items. And then, as I mentioned in the previous video, I did a visit to a couple of bookshops yesterday, and I got a bunch of books. Now, I'm going to preface that discussion right now by saying that you are not going to see a lot of book hauls on my channel. There's a couple of reasons for that. Well, first of all, we live in a fairly small condo here in LA, and so I don't have tons of space. I'm looking into some storage options right now and reorganizing things, but it's just foolish for me to get too many books because I'll just have to tuck them away and not be able to access them, which is dumb. The second thing is, obviously it costs a lot of money, and I'm not ready to just constantly be dropping funds on stacks and stacks of books. So that would, I guess, be reason number 2. And reason number 3, while I occasionally do enjoy book hauls, I find them sometimes inspirational because you guys will talk about a certain book that maybe I've never heard of that sounds interesting, or I might get reminded of something I was looking for, and then that will inspire me to go track down a certain book. I don't really watch a lot of them. I watch some. I mean, there is sort of an ASMR quality to book hauls, I guess, but that's not really why I watch them. So I don't want to burden you with loads and loads of book haul videos. That's not really something I'm going to be doing here on the channel. Once in a while, I'll pick up a few books and talk about those, but this is kind of an exception. I got like over 20 books yesterday. What was I thinking? But I got a bargain on all of these, so we'll cross that bridge when we get to it. All right, so let's go to the stuff that came in my box.
Wow.
Right, so let's talk about all the stuff that was in the box that I shipped back to myself that I referenced slightly in the previous video, beginning with the middle grade books that I read while I was away last week. I mentioned that I read a Shivers novel, I read a Graveyard School novel, and I read a Bone Chillers novel. And I'm not going to go through all of them. I will just say that Graveyard School, this particular one was, I didn't enjoy as much as the first one I read, so that was kind of the Shivers book. Interesting things about this one, Ghastly Shade of Green. First of all, if you don't want to track down a copy to read it, Brian over at Bad Taste Books did a dramatic reading of it, or he narrated it. So you can actually go and listen to him read the entire book over on his channel. I recommend it. I read the book. It's okay. It's okay. It's not great. But what was amusing to me, it's kind of amusing and annoying at the exact same time. The author includes loads and loads of references to classic rock songs. So even like A Ghastly Shade of Green, a whiter shade of pale by Procol Harum, that's that reference there. But then within the book itself, he references A Whiter Shade of Pale, but not in the context of the song. He weaves this bizarre native story. But loads and loads of little references. Obviously, no kid would have gotten any of them. But I found them amusing, but also some of them seem a little forced. So story-wise, it's okay. With some tweaking, it would have been it'd be good for sort of an anthology horror series, but TV series. But it was fine. But this was the one that I think was the big standout. Beware the Shopping Mall, Bone Chillers. I've never read a Bone Chillers book before. This is my very first one, which is good because this is number 1. You can hopefully see that on the spine, and. I went into this thinking, okay, it's a middle grade horror book. The protagonist is a girl with her friends, and they are going to this new mall that's just opened on reclaimed swampland. I'm not going to spoil it because it's actually shockingly good. It's a very good story. which is weird for me to say. I actually found it a good read. It had some good scary moments in there. Some of the highlights of it are that the kids go into this new mall and they see three individuals at different places throughout the mall. And anytime they ask them about, what are you doing here? I just saw you in this other store. They deny that they were there and keep saying things like, oh, it must be somebody who looks like me. So there's like the same person who shows up in the video store and the arcade. And that's a little strange. It gets explained. And then the main character, I think her name is Robin, she actually finds some mannequins that resemble people she knows, and that sets off some alarms. And then later, as the story progresses, she actually witnesses people being turned into mannequins, and it gets progressively more disturbing from that point on. They're being hunted down by the enemies. They witness other people being turned into these mannequins. Eventually, the truth behind everything that's going on comes out. It's pretty interesting, and it all wraps up really, really nicely. You could do this as a pretty good movie. So yeah, Bone Chillers #1. Beware the Shopping Mall. Kind of gets a thumbs up from me. So a lot of these middle grade things, I read them and they're fine. They're entertaining, but that one was a standout. I might be in the minority. I don't know, but I recommend it. Okay, I mentioned that when I was in Erie, Pennsylvania, I picked up some books from Books Galore. I showed you one of them, but I have the other DAWs here. I have Baphomet's Meteor by Pierre Barbet, since it's spelled Barbet, but because his name is Pierre, I'm assuming it's Barbet. It's number 35. It's this one here. What a great Templar cover with Baphomet hanging over in the background. Cool stuff. I got that one. I got King of Argent. This is number 46. John T. Philiphant, which is, of course, a pseudonym, a pen name. And I got from Thomas Burnett Swan, How Are the Mighty Fallen? And this is number 94. So all three of these in fantastic shape and all under number 100. So happy to have those in the collection. The third one is missing at the moment. I'm not sure where I stuck that. But you can see that the spines are all solid. Some fading on the King of Argent one. But these are in fantastic condition. So really, really happy to have those. And I had forgotten that at the same store, Books Galore, I picked up another book. Back in the early 80s, I think it must have been about 84 or so, there was a series of books that popped up in, I think, it must have been like in B. Dalton Walden Books or something like that back in the day. And it was the Classics of Modern Science Fiction series or line. And I believe they did 10 of these. And I always admired them from afar. These might have been on remainder shelves or something. I may be wrong in that regard. Published by Crown. Is it Crown? Yeah, Crown SF. And I just love the look and feel of these. They're little hardcovers. This is Men, Martians, and Machines, as you can see, by Eric Frank Russell. Volume 1, and as I said, I think there are 10 of these. They're all edited by George Zabrowski. This one has a foreword by Isaac Asimov. Again, they're little hardcovers. Original price on these was $7.95. I paid $4 for it. Happy to have it. Happy to have number 1. And this may be inspiring me to track down the remaining 9. If I think there are 10. They did have another one there, but it was in pretty rough shape, so I decided to skip that. But this one's in fantastic condition, and happy to have that. Right. Oh, I'll just show these very briefly. I had mentioned that I picked up some books at ComiCon Erie about role-playing gaming. These are what the ones I talked about. These are hardcovers. They are like a print-on-demand thing. Kind of have that sort of weird, I forget how would you call it? It's almost like a gummy quality to the covers, but they're certainly attractive. They did a nice job on the presentation of these. RPG Beginner's Guide to Becoming a Dungeon Master. And then the third one I got, which is the chonkier one, is the Advanced RPG Guide to Becoming an Expert Dungeon Master. So the author was there. At least one of the authors was there. And he signed them. And I like supporting fellow authors. So that was that. So that's all the stuff that came in the box yesterday, book-wise, and I'm glad to show those things off now. So let's go to the book haul. So yesterday, my friend Mike and I decided to drive down to Long Beach, California, to visit two used bookshops that we have been to in the past and enjoy visiting, and that is Planet Books and Once Read Books. I hope I have the name of that right. Once Read Books. Planet Books, nice and easy. Once Read Books. We started our trip at Planet Books. Planet Books is in a sort of a nondescript warehouse off the beaten path on a little side street with like an oil well pumping away across the street. No joke. This particular area of Long Beach was founded, I think, on oil fields, and there are oil fields and oil wells churning away in certain areas around there. And there is one like kitty corner across the street. So it's an interesting store. It is very cluttered. It's a bit dirty. It's kind of like going into the warehouse at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark, because there are definitely some gems in there, but you have to be patient enough to dig and look for them. They also carry a wide variety of other different pop culture ephemera, so you're going to find some record albums in there jammed in bins and boxes. You'll find rock and roll bumper stickers and posters. You'll find vintage toys. But a lot of books, tons and tons of books. And most of the time, prices are good. You'll also find a lot of books there that do not have prices in them. And it's kind of a weird situation because you gather up the books that you're interested in, bring them to the front register, quote unquote, which is cluttered, and you have to kind of find your way there. And the owner is almost always just sitting in a chair. I'm sure there are a lot of other bookshops that ring true to this. He's almost always sitting down. You hand him your stack of books. He goes through them. If they're priced, obviously that's what the price is. If they're not priced, he kind of on the spot makes it gives them a value. He's almost always very, very fair, so I will give him that. But you kind of just have to trust him. And he doesn't ring it up. Like yesterday, it was like $28 for what I bought. And I fortunately had exact change, gave him the cash. He handed me my books, and I was done. He didn't even punch anything into a cash register. So it's a little odd, but they have a lot of books there. And like I say, if you're patient enough, you will find some very good stuff. So I'm going to go through the things that I did pick up. And this includes two books that are on their new collectible bookshelves. They have a lot of bagged, awesome stuff. I have a couple of pictures of some of the shelves, and you'll see a ton of ace doubles there, all bagged up, and some other publishers represented. This stuff is priced for collectible market, but some of the books there were like as low as $4 or $5, but others, like I think all the Philip K. Dicks, were 18 and up. I didn't buy any of the Philip K. Dick stuff, but I did get a couple of books, and I'll show you those at the end. But I'm going to go through what I did pick up at Planet Books. Price-wise, it's kind of like I say, it's all over the place, and some of these things weren't even marked, so I don't even remember what he charged me for them. But yeah, it was a big stack, and I'm happy with what I got. So the first one I have here, I swear, and I must be wrong because I reached out to him and he said no. But I could have sworn that Brian from Bad Taste Books had discussed this book in one of his haul videos and had said that he was going to be doing a read-along of this book with someone else, and that might have been Jake with Pulp Mortem. But like I say, I reached out to Brian and he said, no, I don't have that book, man. So I don't think he said man. So I don't know where I saw this before or who was going to do the read-along, but it was in my mind. It was fresh in my mind, and I decided, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and grab a copy. And if I can find the people who are doing the read-along, I'll jump in with you if it's something that's happening soon or whatever. It's Pro by Gordon Dixon. This is an interesting book. It's not very long, but it is fully illustrated, which is kind of cool. See some of that stuff there. It has some pretty cool artwork in here. Let's show you some of the other Pictures. That's too small. Oh, Kabod. There's tons of... well, there's kind of an interesting one. A little zebra. A zebra pulling a cart full of warriors. Yeah. So if you are reading Pro, or if you've read Pro, or if you have Pro, and you want to do a read-along of Pro, let's do it. So that's one of the ones I got at Planet Books. All right. Next from Philip Jose Farmer. Condition is phenomenal on this. It's The Green Odyssey. I've never read this one. I have read some Farmer. I've enjoyed his work, but this is the one I got yesterday, The Green Odyssey. Not a very exciting back, but you can pause that if you need to read it. From James Blish, who did a lot of Star Trek books. He did a lot of those collections, those short story collections of classic Trek. I have Vor, and it's one of those squat-looking Avon books in a really, really gorgeous condition. Again, this was just on the shelf in the used book section. So I snatched that up. I don't think this one had a price on it, so it probably was like $2 in the end. I got a couple of Pyramid books. I think it's Jake who likes the Pyramid stripe. May be wrong there. I got from Edmund Hamilton. Now, Edmund Hamilton is an author I'm not really familiar with, but other people have been discussing his books recently, so I thought, hey, I should grab one. And so I got the Haunted Stars, or the Haunted Stairs. No, the Haunted Stars. A tense tale of the near future and of man's destiny among the haunted stars. It's in really, again, really, really nice, clean condition. There's the spine. Nothing to see there. And the second Pyramid I got is a collection of stories called The Unknown, edited by D.R. Benson, with a foreword by Asimov. I'll show you that. I don't know if you can see the list of names there. Theodore Sturgeon, Henry Kuttner, Elsbrag de Camp, Fritz Leiber. There's a Manly Wade Wellman story in there. I mean, there's some great stuff in this. And it's also, again, illustrated. Looks like Solomon Grundy in there throwing a chair or something. Or is that a sled? No, it's a chair. Quiet, please. That looks like some good stuff. I always like grabbing the occasional anthology because those are fun to just take on the road with you. Next one I got, I read this when I was in high school, and I read this exact edition. Now, there have been like a dozen more of these written. It's a shared world. I'm going to just toss teaser items out and see if you can guess what it is before I even reveal the cover. The first cover is fairly unique in that they then changed the cover once they sort of launched the entire line that has gone on through the 2000s. I don't think anything's been written in recent years, but it is Thieves' World, and this is the very first Thieves' World book. This is a 5th printing, and it's a cool book. It introduces everyone to the city of Sanctuary, and this is the one that I read when I was a kid. That particular copy, who knows where that went. And so I was happy to get it back, and this one was, I think, $1 or just maybe $2. And if you're not familiar with the Thieves' World stuff, it is good fun. It's a shared world fantasy setting. But like this first volume, John Brunner, Lynn Abbey, Poul Anderson, Andrew Offutt, Robert Asprin, Joe Haldeman. I mean, there's great writers in these books. So pick them up. And there have also been a bunch of standalone Thieves' World or Sanctuary novels that have been published. So if you want to get even more Sanctuary books, there's tons of them out there. Amusingly, I don't know if you can see that. I'm trying to point back there. Right? Other way, Scott. There you go. That's the Sanctuary board game that was published by Mayfair Games back in the day. It's not an especially good game, but I like Sanctuary, and it's funny. I just got that game earlier this year. Okay, so I have just a few more from Planet Books. I'm trying to get through these quickly because then I have another stack of some stuff. I have never read these books. I don't have the other ones in the series. There's 5 total. This is book number 2. It's Jalaf, Amazon Warrior, by Sharon Green. It's a DAW. It's number 532 with a Ken Kelly cover. And this is a chonker, but I grabbed it because I don't know if it'll focus there. Hello. Yeah, you can see that spine is really, really clean and bright. No damage to it at all. and they didn't have any of the other ones. So I still grabbed it just because of the condition more than anything else. If you've read these other books, I know number 1 and number 3 are Yellow Spine, and then the remaining 2 books in the series are DAW, as far as I know. But after the Yellow Spines, set sail. So if you've read these, let me know how they are. Should I track down the other ones? Should I just trade this away? I don't know. Happy to get that one. Another DAW I got was World's Best SF, Walheim's World's Best SF. This is Series 7. I have Series 5. They had a few other ones on the shelf, but they were beat to crap. This one was in much better shape. And this has stuff by Harlan Ellison, James Gunn, Edward Bryant, Joe Haldeman, Michael Bishop, all sorts of good stuff in there. The Harlan Ellison story is the Jefty story. What's that one? Jefty. I know you're already shouting at the screen as I read it. Jefty is 5. And it's a great story, and I've certainly read it in other collections. I have a bunch of Harlan Ellison stuff on the shelf. But nice to get one of these, and it's in good shape. But whoa, look at how faded that spine is. From Michael Kurland, this is number 157 from Dawn. This is The Whenabouts of Burr. I know nothing about this book, but I figured I would grab it. And it's interesting because that cover there is a Frank Kelly Freas cover, even though at first I thought it was a photograph. And you really don't see Freas do a lot of photorealistic stuff like that. So that was kind of interesting to grab. And it's a slim little volume. Overall, it's in good shape. A little ding on the spine there, and it's faded. This was also one of those ones that I'm sure you've experienced this. Every once in a while you get an older mass market paperback and you will have pages where the corner wasn't, or the paper wasn't cut right. It was like there was a fold in a corner, and it still went through the printing process, and then you can unfold that folded bit and it sticks up and out of the book. And this had 2 pages like that, and I very, very carefully trimmed them because they were folded down quite a bit, and it was actually causing more damage than it was worth. So now the folds are gone, and hopefully the book will sit nice and flat amongst its fellow DAWs. Okay, these were just sitting in a box, and I had a whole bunch of these when I was a kid, and I saw them, and I immediately grabbed them. No price on them whatsoever. I think he charged $2 each for these. I'm happy with that. It's 2 of the Indiana Jones Find Your Fate books. And you can see this one over here is written by R.L. Stine, of all people. He wrote a bunch of those Find Your Fate books back in the day. The other one is by Richard Wenk. That one in particular is in fantastic shape. This one's been read a few times and thoroughly enjoyed, but it's in good shape. It's solid. These actually go for some pretty good money. So if you see Find Your Fate, choose your own path type books, I recommend picking them up. You can flip them for some good money in some cases. But happy to have those. And then lastly, I did get 2 things off those collector's shelves I told you about. Neither of them were ace doubles, despite there being a freaking wall of ace doubles. He also had ace double sci-fi, a whole section of ace double mystery. Those are the yellows, and then a bunch of ace double westerns. But in the case of most of them, they were pretty highly priced, especially the ones I was interested in. So maybe someday I'll go down there with a little pocket money from the holidays or something silly like that and pick up a few of those. But what I did grab, these weren't priced particularly high, but this one was one I really wanted to add to my collection. It's Donovan's Brain. This is the Bantam edition. And my understanding is that this was the very first Bantam sci-fi paperback. I said sci-fi, science fiction paperback. I'll try not to say sci-fi ever again. Oh, I said it again. Bum. So yeah, this is, my understanding is this was the first Bantam science fiction paperback. Thought I have to have a copy of that. This one is solid. It's got like a ding on the corner there, and the spine is a bit faded. But overall, it's in nice shape, and I think it was $5. So that's okay. I'm okay with that. And then lastly, the only other one I bought off that shelf, and this is the last book I got from Planet Books, it's The Graveyard Reader. And look at that amazing cover. And it says 12 Terrifying Tales. It's a Ballantine book. And the authors in this, amazing. Charles Beaumont, Ambrose Bierce, Ray Bradbury, John Collier, Roald Dahl, Henry Kuttner, H.P. Lovecraft, Theodore Sturgeon. I mean, it's like some great, great stuff in here. It's in really nice condition. And like I say, I do pick up the occasional anthology, especially horror and sci-fi anthology. So that was a nice addition to the collection. I'm very happy to have that. And I think that might have been $7. But all right. So then we went from Planet Books to lunch. And then after lunch, across the street, we popped into Once Read Books. Actually, before we popped in, Once Read Books, which is in Long Beach, they have some carts out front. The far right cart, if you're going in the front door, you go all the way to the right. It's on the sidewalk. And that cart, it's double-sided, and it is loaded with books that are all marked at 25 cents. 1/4. And there's a lot of good stuff on there. But I only bought one off of that cart. And it was this Stagecoach book. Station number 34. So this is the 34th in that series. I don't know how many there are in the series. I certainly know there are at least 34. It's written by Hank Mitchum. It's another pseudonym for an author who has written many, many other books. I think when I looked it up, he's written something like 350 plus books. And it does say from the creators of Wagons West. So that was one of the ones he's more known for. You've probably seen those books. They sort of have an American like colored flag on, like striped logo. Usually it's a state in the West. And I think he did a slew of those. But this was only 1/4. It's in fantastic condition, apart from the fact that they mark it so that they know it's only 25 cents. So I figured, I'll throw it in my Western pile and maybe read it. And if I enjoy it, I can always track down at least 33 others. All right, so that's the quarter rack. And like I said, there were more, but I skipped it. The carts that are right outside the door, and I think there's 2. These ones are $1 each or 6 for $5. Bizarrely, I only grabbed 3. I should have gotten 6. Like the dummy, I wasn't even paying attention. But I got 3. The first one I got was Gat Heat, which is a Shel Scott novel. I have a whole bunch of Shel Scott books. If you've never read Shel Scott, it's light and fluffy private investigator stuff. It's almost comical. But it's I mean, I know there are readers out there who think it's almost too light, but I quite enjoy it. It's mostly LA-based stuff. He travels around a little bit. I already actually have a copy of Gat Heat, but I have a different edition. So, but it was $1, so I grabbed it. The other another one I got on the dollar cart is Medusa's Children, and this is the Dell edition of it, Bob Shaw's Medusa's Children. Really nice condition copy. Again, they do mark it up so they know it's $1 off the cart. Just recently, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago, I guess, I picked up Medusa's Children in the Pan edition from Bart's Books in Ojai, California. So I have that on the shelf, but I couldn't pass up grabbing this one because it's all different cover art. I mean, how cool is that? Rawr! Big eye, octopoidal thing grabbing partially clothed women undersea. No relation, Waterworld. And then lastly, off that cart, the dollar cart, I did grab Isola, which is, I don't know, it's like the 8th book in the Vlad Taltos books by Stephen Brust. If you've never read those, they're great fantasy books. I dig them. I have not read this one. One book that Brust wrote that I do highly recommend it is Terrain in Hell. If you can ever find a copy of that, it's fantastic. So you will not regret reading that book. But this one is an amazing. I bumped my mic. This one is in amazing condition, and it was $1. So I am happy to have that. All right, and then I only have just 5 more. Just 5 more, and then I'm done. I'm out of here. A couple nice surprises in the store. These were all found in the store, and they have a lot of great stuff in there. And in some ways, their inventory is almost more impressive than Planet Books. Planet Books has the quantity, but it's so chaotic that it's difficult to dig and find the stuff. but it's a little bit more organized in Once Read, and so I was able to find some cool stuff. I did get the Cornelius Chronicles, this edition. This is the first 4 books of Jerry Cornelius, Michael Moorcock. This is the 950-page, doorstop. It's not in great shape, but it's completely solid. I had a copy of this again when I was a teenager. No idea where it went. And I think he gave it to me for, $3. So happy to have that. I did get some other Moorcock. And in fact, all the rest of these books are DAWs. So I got The Rituals of Infinity. Again, another DAW release. This is 307. Original title, The Wrecks of Time. I have not read this. So I was really happy to see that on the shelf. Again, it's in pretty good condition. A Messiah at the End of Time. And original title, or British title on this one is The Transformation of, Miss Mavis Ming. This is the first American publication. It is number 277 in the DAW library. And again, really, really nice condition. Spine is still mighty yellow. And then the last 2 DAWs. This is number 395. It's a Christopher Stasheff, A Wizard in Bedlam. If you've ever read, he did the Warlocks books. By the author of The Warlock in Spite of Himself, and they're good fun. They're a lot of fun. I would recommend them. But I saw this one on the shelf. I haven't seen it before, and I grabbed it. It's got a cover by David Mattingly. Interesting side note: those Indiana Jones Find Your Fate books are illustrated by David Mattingly. So. Pretty cool. And then lastly, this one is interesting. This is number 386 by an author. Well, this is a pseudonym. It's the nom de plume for Compton and Crook, PhD, and that is Stephen Tall. And it's The People Beyond the Wall. Focus. A modern lost race novel. Now, I don't know if that is a full-size guy with tiny little people or full-size people with a giant man. But the name is Tall, so who knows? I like Lost Race books. I've read a few of them in recent months. Back during Rocket Summer, I read a couple of them, I think, from Armchair Fiction. They've reprinted some of them. And so it'll be interesting to read at some point. Not particularly long, a couple hundred pages. And so that is, alas, as I look at my stacks of books, the last book I picked up yesterday. So that is the end of my haul. I hope this haul was somewhat entertaining and I provided you with some information that might be helpful in tracking down some of these books. And also, if you're ever in the Los Angeles area, certainly if you want to take the drive down to Long Beach, time it right, because the drive, it's only like 35 miles from me. I'm up in the San Fernando Valley. Going down, I think we got there in about 45 minutes. Coming back, it took like an hour and a half. Friday, LA traffic. It is what it is. So time that out accordingly. But if you're ever in the LA area and you're going to be near Long Beach, California, highly recommend paying a visit to Planet Books and Once Read Books. They are both fantastic. You will walk away with some great stuff. And that's about it for today. So you're not going to see a big haul like that for a while from me. I'm not sure what I'm going to do in the next video, but I'm sure it'll be hugely entertaining, as it always is. So thank you once again for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe. I've got more cool content coming up, more gaming content, collecting stuff, all sorts of goodies. And if you don't want to miss a moment of that, follow me, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video, hopefully in the next few days. Take care.